Welcome back, everybody. Robert Smith here. Little hiatus from the last video that we made about a month ago or so due to me trying to bowl out with the PBA 50, which I'll honestly say went meh. But had a good time with the guys. A lot of fun and, good to be home though. So anyways, let's cut to the chase here. We are going to talk about one of the two new releases from Hammer today, which is going to be the new Scorpion Strike. I am a really big fan of the Scorpion Low Flare. Never had a chance to throw the original Scorpion just because I haven't been on staff very long. But one of my favorites is by far the Scorpion Low Flare. So with this new one coming out, I'm pretty excited to see how this reacts. First look at it, biggest difference you can tell is, of course, the shell. It's pearl. It's got the HK22 additive in there. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a little bit lengthier, but a lot more responsive off the back end just because of the cover stock. Plus also with the differential being from an 031 to an 045, we got a little bit more engine going on this, so this should help get it around the corner more. So I'm kind of expecting this to be a bigger back end bowling ball. So what we're gonna do today is I have thrown some shots already with my Scorpion Low Flares. The two laid out that I did with the strikes, the Scorpion Strikes, they're close to what I had on the Low Flares, so I think this is gonna be a nice comparison to see what happens with each layout. So, Chris, as we go this way, so you'll see the middle two, those are my Scorpion Low Flares. I finally got a PAP for all those that were giving me grief a few videos ago. So if anybody wants to know what my axis point is, it is 4 7/8 over with 5/8 up. So with that being said, this Scorpion Low Flare here is a actual 90 by 3 by, what was the number? 40. So this one is definitely designed to pick up a little earlier. Try to be a little more continuous. I don't want it blowing up its energy so fast on it, and really have been having good luck with these these strong pins with these weaker mass biases kicked towards the track. The other one, which is my absolute favorite, the one I fell in love with, that one there is by far one of the most versatile balls I got. That layout there is a 60 by 5 by 30. The shells are lane shine, so there's no touch on them whatsoever. So with these two, there's a big difference in how these two are shaping, and if you can believe, this one actually hooks a little more than this one right now, but you're gonna see what's going on. So the layouts that I did with the Scorpion Strike over here and this one here, this one pretty much mirrors this one. As you can see, the difference is that first number, it's closer to 65. Otherwise, it's still the 5 and the 40. This one here, didn't want it quite as tame as this one or as early because with the bigger core. So this one, I moved it over from 3 to 3 1/8. So, but it's still kind of the same numbers. It's an 80 by 3 3/8 by, oh gosh, I'm learning this stuff, 30. So what I'm expecting out of these, again, is a little more length than my other ones, than these two guys here, but I'm expecting a lot more back end out of them. So with that being said, we're gonna start out with what I've been learning to throw a little bit more is these stronger pins where they're like 3, 2.5 inches. And you're gonna see the shape of it, and then we're gonna go to the other one here, and I have not thrown that yet, so you're gonna be with me on seeing how much difference this new Scorpion Strike is over the Low Flare. And of course, gotta throw one good right out of the gate. All right, so you can see that ball picks up pretty early, pretty tame coming out of the back end, not a really sharp motion. Again, I love the versatilities of these Low Flares. With the differences in the pins and the cores, not trying to override too much, I feel like I can actually get some really nice differences in the shapes without feeling like I've got to try to get cute with some other layouts. So, all right, so let's go ahead and try this one out for the first time. This is going to be the Scorpion Strike. Again, similar layout, not exact, but close enough. I think you'll see the difference. So I'm going to stand in the same spot. I'm assuming more length, but until you throw the ball, we really don't know. Yeah, more length, more pop on the back. That rolled really nice. I'm assuming it's probably going to start grabbing a little more once I get a few shots in where you can knock the polish off a little bit. But for a first shot, that ball had a good motion on it. Good flare too, nothing crazy on it for sure. All right, let's try that again. So again, go stand in the same spot, just see what comes out of this. Next shot, Dan, you see, it's got that good length on it, a little tamer than it was before. It really looks similar to what my low flare is, but definitely with that new pearl shell with the HK22, you can see it's got a little bit more length to it, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that if you know what you got with your drill patterns. Give this another shot, that felt good. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that earlier, finally. So, but that ball's doing exactly what I want it to do. I mean, it's clean through the first 30, 40 feet, but you can definitely tell that the shell's trying to pick up on it. Or not the shell, the core is trying to definitely roll up on it. Let me get this dead wood out of the way. Now I'll throw the new one in the gutter, you know that. Usually what I tell all my customers, throw the first one in the gutter, that way you don't get anything worse than that. It's only going to get better as you go through it. So, but no, that's starting to do what I kind of expected. I figured it would start grabbing the lane even after a couple shots. So I'm going to go ahead and trust what I saw. I'm going to move a couple boards left, probably about 2. I like that ball. That ball rolls heavy for being a pearl. That ball rolls real heavy for being a pearl. Definitely not quitting on the back. Wow, I can't wait to throw this ball a little bit more in leagues and stuff like that to really see what this ball can do. But all right, let's try one more shot just because I'm enjoying what this thing's doing. But you can definitely tell the responsiveness off the back. It's definitely got the HK22. The low flare, definitely a little bit smoother coming out of that spot. And I didn't even think I threw that one very well.
Now you gotta go until you miss.
No, I ain't doing that. This video might end in about 10 seconds. So, honestly, first look at it. It's definitely a bigger pearl. It's not the low flare. So if the low flare was a little too tame, you know, didn't quite have the engine you were hoping for to get out of the spot, I think the Scorpion Strike will definitely get that ball to motor off the back end a little bit more if you were ever worried that the low flare did not. So that looked pretty good. So let's take a look at something else here. So we're going to jump over to the other ones just so you guys can get a difference on, you know, layouts. I mean, see what these bowling balls are going to do. So now I'm going to go back and we're going to go back to my low flare originally. But this one's going to be the 5-inch pin. I was lined up with it. I'm assuming I'll have to move a little bit already, but just to show you the shape on this one first, we're going to go ahead and throw it. Oh, yep, burned up that spot pretty quick. But you can see with the low flare, that hybrid shell, especially without the HK22, you can tell there's a little bit earlier grab to it, and it's not as responsive off the spot. That one hooked, yes, but that one definitely read a lot sooner than my other shots. So I'm gonna try to make the 310 hit in the pocket so that way I can make the move, and then we can go take a look at the other one. So I'm gonna make the move again like I did before, about 2 boards over. There we go. All right, so overall hook, you can see that the 5-inch pin low flare had kind of the similar hook to the 3 3/8 pin on the Scorpion Strike. It's amazing what, you know, shell and layout combinations can do, and you can almost still get the same rolls out of them. So right now, these two look pretty similar to me, but there's totally different layouts and shells. So it's actually a nice compliment, because if you get on sport patterns, all bets are off. All right, so Scorpion Strike, the 5-inch pin. So same thing, we're gonna stand in the same spot and see how this thing shapes up compared to the low flare with the same layout. Now I gotta remember where I was standing, there we go. Oh, wow. That was clean. That was very clean through the front. Nice, because the one, when I've been needing to get stuff through the front of the lane, get it down the lane a little bit, my low flare's been pretty good with it, but I know there's more length to some of these bowling balls that are out, and so this looked pretty good. Very lengthy from that first shot. Let's go ahead and make our spare. Even moving that far right into the track, getting into where it was hooking, you can see that ball got through the front real clean. So shell-wise, compared to the low flare, I would say this strike has definitely got more length to it. No questions about it. It's definitely got more length. All right, let's make our moves here. So that last one went through the front pretty good. I'm actually gonna move one back to the right. Yeah, you can see with those different layouts and stuff, that pin up one, that 5-inch pin, really gets down the lane clean. It almost looks tamer on the back end because of how much length there is relative to the 3 3/8 pins. Kind of an interesting gig, because usually I thought that the 5-inch pins had more overall hook than the 3-inch pins, stuff like that. But as you're seeing along with me, it's kind of the truth. I mean, the 3 3/8 pins, the 3/8 pins, they hook so much earlier, read the lane so much earlier. In a weird sense, I get more hook out of them than the lengthy stuff, which is not a bad thing. It's just a little different. I'm still learning all these layouts and stuff on the fly with everybody. Ooh. Thank God that rolled out. But yeah, overall, these Scorpion Strikes have some motor in them. I would think they're probably a bigger version than a Game Breaker 4, core-wise and shell-wise even. Even though it's a Pearl and a Game Breaker 4, I believe it's a hybrid. This guy just seems to be more responsive. It's probably the HK22 in it. It seems like when they put that additive, it does pick up a little sooner than some other Pearls would. So is this the most lengthy ball? No. Is it lengthier than my low flares? Absolutely. So I'm gonna throw a couple more shots here, see if I can come up with anything else. Gotta love new bowling balls. They always do something different after about 5 shots. When it sees friction, it moves, that's for sure. That is for sure. No, I like what I see so far. They look good going down the lane. You know, I don't see any issues with these things yet. I'd say if you're looking for something that's, you know, relatively inexpensive, I mean, these things are in the midline stuff as far as pricing. I think this is a great ball. It's got a big enough core. It's going to tumble. It's going to flare. The shell's not overly aggressive, so I mean, you can see this house pattern, it's kind of drying up a little bit. I can play a little left and not feel like the ball's not going to come around. So I think bang for the buck, this ball's pretty nice. All right, that went face. I'm moving left. Another 3. That thing's coming out of the oil line too, so pretty nice. Yeah, so in a nutshell, really, my verdict just after these few shots here with the Scorpion Strike, I'm kind of sold. I'm looking forward to throwing these a little more. It looks like these guys definitely do like friction. I would say if they're pretty heavily oiled or you need something that's a little bit more controlling on the back, these are probably not the right moves. But if you got some lanes that are a little bit more dry in the front, need some help getting the ball to push and get around, again, bang for your buck. I think it's well worth what these have so far. So looking forward to throwing these things a little bit more. Been happy with what they keep bringing out so far, especially with their midline stuff. And this falls right into plan, you know, right in with the kind of equipment that I like to throw personally. So I would imagine 1 or 2 of these are going to be in my bag for sure. So otherwise from that, like usual, like to thank my sponsors, Hammer, of course, always Hammer. I Am Bowling and Vice Inserts. Thank you for the help and everything with everything we do. Otherwise from that, look at the comments. I'll take a look, see what you guys think and say on it. Hopefully everybody's happy though that I finally do know my access point and can tell you a layout finally. So I'm not quite the dinosaur I used to be, so that's good. So, all right guys, until next one, have a good one. Bye.